All right. Well, all that aside, let's get to the first match. We've got a big one right out of the gates here. Kurt Angle, the American hero, versus Rey Mysterio in his pay-per-view debut match in the WWE. He had just come to the company recently, and they threw him right in there with Angle, and it was exciting. I remember Mysterio coming on the scene and it being a real big deal, and they hyped it up for weeks and weeks and weeks, that he was coming. And I wasn't as familiar with him at the time because I was still relatively new to watching wrestling at this time. So for me, it was very exciting. And one of my close friends was a big Kurt Angle fan, and so we kind of like had our guys picked, and so it was fun to watch that one.
Well, imagine that Kurt Angle in the first match of a pay-per-view. Like I know when pay-per-views are loaded with great matches, it's not like it's a dark match or lead on, a throwaway match, but still Kurt Angle in the first match. You can't get any
Kurt
bigger
Angle
than
and
that.
Kurt Angle and Rey Mysterio too. I mean,
Well, yeah, but Mysterio was just coming in. Theoretically, I know he wrestled elsewhere before, but
yeah,
theoretically, he's kind of a rookie in that
yeah.
WWE.
No, Angle was definitely established at this point for sure. But yeah, I mean, and we're not going to go blow for blow, what happens in the match and everything, but I will say one thing I did not like was Angle's singlet.
Agreed.
It was like this candy cane looking singlet, and it was the one thing that took away from the match, because the match was fantastic, but it was just like, and Mysterio's gear was cool and he looked awesome, and the SummerSlam set looked awesome, and everything was cool, and he was wearing like the ugliest like singlet I've ever seen him wear. So
I know, like on the indie scene, but like on the WWE scene, how much input do the wrestlers have in terms of that? Is it 100% them? Or is it like 50-50? Does WWE go, no, that's not going to work?
I believe I don't know what the rules were back then, but best I can tell these days, they more or less let the wrestlers make the call on the gear. They're the ones paying for it and getting it made up and everything. I'm sure creative has some design stuff. Sometimes they, like I suppose it would depend on your character. I mean, like if you're, the Fiend,
well, yeah, you can't come out in a rainbow or
right, then they're gonna, hold you to certain, things and everything. So, and I'm sure that they helped create the mask that he wore and all that sort of stuff, but like someone say like Liv Morgan or something like that probably has a lot more give and can just make up her own stuff. So it's my guess.
It went long, over 9 minutes, close to 9.5 minutes, which was I thought was interesting to start the show off with that long of a match. I know it's not incredibly long by really old school standards, but to go close to 10 minutes for an opening act,
you sure?
I thought it was pretty good.
We had referee Jimmy Corderas officiating this contest. I thought it was important to mention the refs, because if you look at all the refs in this, it is basically the who's who of professional referees in pro wrestling. I mean, they pretty much have everybody here this night. And as you know, having been on the inside of a wrestling company before, the whole thing is a family, and that includes the referees and the announce position and creative and everybody. I mean, so it's important, I think, to make mention of the refs, because they are part of the scene that we're trying to set here. This is what helped make this pay-per-view great, was we had top-notch referees working on this thing. So it was very fast-paced match. They did get a holy shit chant at one point. So, I mean, like you said, first match of the night. I mean, if you can, the most important matches are supposed to be the first match and the main event, because the first match gets the show going. and then your main event is you want to send them home happy, you know. So if you can get the crowd riled up into a holy shit chant in the first match, you know, we're off to a good start.
No, I will say this. I like Ravens. Always like Kurt Angle. You know, the guy's a Hall of Famer without question. I like Rey Mysterio. I didn't like Rey Mysterio when they put him against guys like the Big Show because I can't suspend my belief that much. I thought going against Angle was good because they're close enough in size, close enough in ability. The one thing I hate about Rey Mysterio, though, I thought the 619 was about as bad of a finisher, as bad of a move. It almost ranks right up there with the people's elbow. You know, I mean, seriously, like, you know, you go through all the thing in the match, and he just happens.
I don't think it's as bad as the people's elbow. I mean,
yeah, he just happens to fall on the ropes perfectly, and then Ray could do his 619. I don't know. It looks so set up and so phony.
Well,
I want him to have a better move. He's a better wrestler than that.
He has, but see, okay, all right. You know, there are times where the setup is just a little too obvious. I mean, where the guy clearly trips and falls. If
and then he stays there.
Right. If he ends up in that position on his own, I don't think that makes sense. However, I've seen Ray do like a drop toe hold where the guy falls into the rope
and then stays there.
And then I guess, I mean,
you know, you're fighting Ray, you know, when you're on the ropes, you dive out of it. Even you.
Well, some people do. Some people get out of the way. It's not like he's hit every 619 he's ever tried, you know.
Percentage wise, he's hit the majority. I think it's I hate that move.
You think you're the first person I've ever heard say they didn't like the 619.
Well,
I understand what you're saying, but that's just pro wrestling. I mean,
no, but it's not pro wrestling. It's like bad indie wrestling where we're gonna set this move up.
Okay, well, when Shawn Michaels starts tuning up the band, the guy's just like, you know, slowly getting up and waiting to turn around, and then he sets that up.
But that the guy doesn't know. Maybe Sean's going to hit him with anything.
He knows what he's going to. He never stomps his foot in the corner unless he's going to kick you in the head. He doesn't do a fake out.
But it's not as badly and as phony set up as the 619. That's my beat.
All right. Well, we're not going to dwell on this.
And Kurt Angle should know better than that.
Well, Kurt Angle comes into this vowing to break the ankle of Rey Mysterio. Now, one thing that Mysterio has in his advantage in this scenario here is with the ankle lock, the best way to get out of it is to roll underneath him, you know, and then, you know, reverse it. But it's tough for like a normal sized person to do, you know, to get down that low and be able to do that. It does invariably throw him forward too, the momentum of doing that. But Ray had a big advantage being so small in this, and that it did help him get out of the ankle lock several times. However, at the very end, he was Angle really locked it in there, worked it hard, and then just when Ray was getting close to the ropes, Angle dragged him out to the middle and just was, you know, yanking on it, and then that was it, and Ray tapped out. I was had I been making a prediction at the time, I would have thought Mysterio was going to win that match.
Oh, no way. No way. Not his debut, not against Angle. I thought that was the perfect way to do it.
No, I'm happy with
1-0 Johngy.
I'm happy with the way that it went. But I think back then, and I was still, well, I gotta remember, I was also relatively new to watching wrestling though, too. So like I didn't quite have, like today, I might have looked at it differently, but back then that was just what was going on.
Well, I'm giving myself the retro point. 1-0 Johngy.
We're not starting retro points, okay? This is not going to become a thing. Yeah, well, good for you. All right, you do that.
But an excellent match.
Yes, an excellent match, and just a great kickoff to the show.